Welcome back, everyone, to the school year for the 2015-16 year. I know many of you saw my address before the elementary principals at McCullough Eunice and then before the secondary at Etzel Ford. Some of you may not have seen it, so we figured we would tape this version. It'd be similar material to what was stated during those addresses, and that way everybody gets a chance to see it, or they can go back and look at some of the positive things that are going on the first couple of days of school. I can tell you that we've had a great start to the year. I visited several schools yesterday, Tuesday, the first day of school, and just see things running very, very well. I know our children are excited, the parents are excited, and I know all the cabinet from central office also visited the schools to show presence and just to provide support. I want to thank all the teachers, the principals, and all of our staff for making the first couple of days a great experience for our students. So I'd like to talk to you about a few things as the new superintendent. I'm not new to this school district. I've been here almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years this October, where I started as a substitute teacher. But I wanted to just state, and I've stated some of this through the interview process, that I'm really honored to be superintendent. I want to thank the Board of Education. They really put their faith and trust in me to take on this awesome responsibility. We have almost 20,000 students in the school district, over 2,500 employees, and just a wonderful school community. And so again, I'm very grateful to the Board of Education. I want to let you know as well that I really value all of our employees. I value our community. I value our students. And as we talk about our employees, I want to thank you for the hard work that you do on a day-to-day basis to meet the needs of each and every child in the school district. For those of you who are teachers, I, like many of you, got into this profession for an optimistic viewpoint. I really wanted to make a difference in the lives of students. Well, I believe that together, as a united team, we will continue not only to make a difference in the lives of students, but to accelerate this district to the next level of achievement when it comes to students in their best interest. As mentioned, many of you know me, but for those of you who don't, I started as a substitute teacher, did my student teaching at Oakman. I was a teacher at Salina Elementary School, and then became the assistant principal at Salina. Following that, I was a principal at both Salina and Duval before taking on a central office position in human resources and student services at the central office location. This July, I became the superintendent, and I'm very, very excited to be the new superintendent. And so today, what I'd like to do is just outline a few areas of my 90-day plan. Within that plan, you can find all the documents on my blog. Blogs are going to be a big initiative this year. It is going to be one of those non-negotiables to go along with customer service, where I do believe that it's critical that we are serving the parents, the students, and the public. Communication is an important part of that. So I will lead by example with my blog. So I'd like to turn to the PowerPoint here that I also have on my blog and just go over a few things that are in the 90-day plan that's been submitted to the Board of Education. I'm over 60 days into the 90-day plan, and I do plan to provide a report to the Board of Education in October regarding the accomplishments. Some of the goals within the 90-day plan will become my specific goals and district goals, and so I'm working with the board right now on that aspect. So enhancing student growth and achievement, meeting the needs of each and every child in Dearborn, and again, you can find this on my blog. Start with Rick Dufour. I know many of you may know him, some of you may not. He's big into professional learning communities, and his recent publication titled In Praise of American Educators really looks at data, and it basically states that there's no generation of American educators that has ever accomplished what our teachers and administrators are achieving today. The theme continues to state that we have the greatest generation of educators that we've ever seen in our schools right now. And he has specific data that backs this, both with graduation rates, NAEP scores, and other comprehensive data sets that are in the book. But that's a consistent theme. The theme though, is that we can still make improvements. And this is possibly going to be, at least he states, his last publication, because he did come down with stage 4 cancer, and I did mention this to the group. So I would recommend the book. I have not read through the whole thing, but I'm just halfway through this right now, and I just thought that was something I want to point out, because I do think that not only in America but in Dearborn, we do have a great educational group. We have a great staff. We have great teachers in our district, and I appreciate all the hard work that you do on a daily basis. Again, there's still room for improvement, but together I think we're going to take this district to the next level. So as I've mentioned this through my interview process, and I continue to mention it when I go and speak before different audiences, whether it's in the community, whether it's before our transportation department or the teachers. Student interest must be the number one priority. We need to meet the needs of each and every child, and that'll be a consistent theme that you'll hear from me. Whenever there's politics involved, I will still side with the best interest of students. And of course, there'll be a number of tough decisions that we have to make together as a team. It's also a non-negotiable for me that we work together as a professional learning community. We're going to accomplish a lot together as a team. We can accomplish much more together collaboratively than we can as individuals. So that will be how I do business on a daily basis, and I believe it's how we as a district should operate. I mentioned this as really for the teachers because I did address the teachers, but we have a couple of union groups, our DFSE employees that are getting a small increase, and then also the DFT. I think it's good news that we can give back to our employees. These were based on their collective bargaining agreements. It shows that we're committed to them, and it is a way to give back to our employees. I know that we've taken concessions over the last several years, so it was something I think that we can say, 0.8% is coming back to the teachers as a positive way to reward the teachers for their hard work. Again, team collaboration is really important, and I do believe that we work together. We're going to develop high-performing teams, and we can do much more together as a team, and you're going to see this as we operate with our administrative team and then our teacher teams within the school district. Okay, so one of the areas within the 90-day plan is our feeder track, greater articulation before elementary, middle, and high school. I talked about this during my interviews with the Board of Education, and now we have a specific plan that's going to be put into action. And here are some of the goals. We want to meet the needs of each and every child. Again, I'm going to continue to state that. We want to increase student achievement. We want to increase student growth. Graduation rates are good, but there is still room for improvement. We want to continue to provide options for students with the My Learning Plan and high school options. And we want to prepare for life beyond high school, and I think that's critical. So these are some of the feeder track model goals. So what we need to do is, if we want to really make effective change for the benefit of our students, we really need to have a cultural shift within the school district. And part of that is going to be a restructuring within cabinet, which I'm going to get to, and we're going to measure that. Anthony Muhammad, a researcher, talks about if you really want to be effective, you have to have specific action to bring vision into reality. And I know a lot of people may have seen him. He is from Michigan, and some of his work on effective change makes a lot of sense. So feeder track measurements. Again, this is the increased articulation between elementary, middle, and high school so that students are ready for life beyond high school. We have our NWEA, we have our PSAT test, we have our SAT, and then we're looking at other formative assessments. We know right now that the state data is in flux, and we really cannot use that as a measure for the feeder track, but long term, once we get that data in place, hopefully we can use that as another measurement tool. Graduation rates, as mentioned, student success beyond high school, and data gathered through our school improvement process that we've implemented. I can tell you that I believe that our school improvement process is very effective. We may need to tweak some things, but we do want to get teachers involved in the process as far as being on the committees along with the union, and we're going to be inviting a lot more administrators from the different buildings to go to different buildings and to share in the knowledge. So here's the specific area of the plan for the feeder track. What we're doing is restructuring cabinet so that we have supervision from the executive directors. We're going to have 3 executive directors of student achievement. One will be Dr. Chokel, and she will supervise the Fordson feeder track system, which means all the schools that feed into Fordson from the middle school, and then all the elementary schools that feed into the middle schools that go into the Fordson area, she will supervise. She'll also have additional duties, and we have our organizational chart on my blog. Edsel Ford, we have a feeder track system there as well, and we have a vacancy right now that we've posted that position. We'll be interviewing soon, and with Dr. Shankman leaving the district, and we want to thank her for her hard work over the many years in the school district. Mrs. Peterson will oversee the Dearborn High feeder track system, and again, that's a similar model to the Fordson and Edsel Ford, where we're trying to create a greater partnership and collaboration between the levels. What's going to happen is that the feeder track teams will be represented on the school improvement plan committees. We're also encouraging the principals to have a teacher attend those visits. So for example, a Bryant school improvement visit would include the elementaries that feed into it, and then, for example, the Dearborn High administration, hopefully bringing a teacher to participate as well. We're going to improve norms and goals at building levels, And Cabinet is planning to attend meetings and late starts to provide visibility and just consistent support and to learn about the great things that you're doing out there so that we can share in the knowledge. What's going to happen is you're going to see all of our administrative principal meetings in the buildings. So the principals will be meeting with the executive directors on a monthly basis in their feeder track in the school. What will happen is they'll start out the meeting and they'll be walking through classrooms in small groups of teams to share in the knowledge. That'll be the beginning of their meetings, and then they'll go into administrative areas. We are requiring that all meeting agendas are interactive. One of the things that I've done at my general administrators meeting before all the principals is that we are not having technology as a distraction. So we're kind of banning technology in that if there's any emergencies, calls can come into the superintendent's office, but we want people to be present during meetings so that they're very interactive. And another possible norm is just, showing up on time. I think that's also important, and just honoring the people that are present in the meeting. As far as the feeder track, the special education department is going to align its administration according to that level. They'll have coordinators overseeing each of the feeder track groups, the Etzel Ford, Fordson, and Dearborn High. And then the other important thing just to know is that announcements during these feeder track meetings will also take place through bulletins, but we will not necessarily just announce things at the meeting. And we just thought that was a greater way to address our time and to save time as we're trying to make these presentations and these meetings interactive. Other things with the ELL, these are some other aspects of our 90-day plan. We want to increase our ELL model. And so right now we have about a current staff that's about 25% of English language learning certified, but I'm trying to move that to closer to match our student population, which is around 49%. And so we're doing some things to also offer scholarships and grants for individuals to get ESL endorsed. And so I think that's an important aspect. And Roselle DuBailey, the director of ELL department, has also aligned her supervisory tracks according to the feeder track model. So we're operating that way on an entire district level. A few other things to point out are just enhancing our co-teaching model. We want to be more effective. I believe we've done some good things, but I think there's some room for improvement. I'm looking at enhancing our student teaching model. I do fear that in about 5 to 7 years, we're looking at a potential teacher shortage in the state. And part of that experience and that opinion comes from my 4 years working in human resources and seeing as university enrollments have been cut in half by about 50%. So we want to enhance that model. Some of that is also going to be working with our legislatures to try to make improvements on a state level. Again, that's not a Dearborn issue, that's more of a state level and even a national issue as we have a shortage. I think part of the political culture has been to bash the teachers, bash the unions, and I just don't think it's accurate. I think people need to really look at the positive things that are going on, and I appreciate you as employees because I know the collaboration that we work on a professional level. A couple of other areas that you'll see is the home visit model. This is going to be a DFT-led initiative with the president, Chris Sipperly, and her team, and we're going to be providing support for that. You can probably see some of that coming out maybe in the second semester, but we're working on that. We're going to have teachers visiting homes to have a better understanding and to develop a better relationship and rapport with our parents. Student Advisory Committee to Superintendent. This is something we're going to start in October, and I have a lot of groups that I meet with unions, parents, community leaders, but why not the students? I think it's important that we listen to our students, and so we're going to start with this group. It'll be a group starting out in the high school. We'll pilot a group of 12 students that will be selected. All students will be eligible to apply for this. This is coming out soon, and they'll meet with me on a monthly basis so that I can hear their viewpoints. One of their responsibilities will be not to represent themselves, but to represent some of the viewpoints within the school. So that'll be an expectation that they actually collect information, possibly surveying students and finding out, the culture of the buildings and the opinions that students have. I've mentioned blogs. I'm going to go back and mention the blog. That will be a non-negotiable. We need to increase customer service, and so by providing a blog, I'm going to lead by example, providing information to both parents and staff. I think it's critical that every school, every central office department, and then every teacher has a blog. We will provide support and training, but we need to make sure that we're implementing and using, we're in 2015, we have all this technology available, we have social media. Why not use it to our advantage? I can tell you on my blog as well that you can sign up for either Facebook or Twitter. When I put a blog post on WordPress, it automatically goes to those areas, including LinkedIn. And I also have a YouTube account and an Instagram account. And I know that Mr. Mustin in the communication office often will retweet some of my posts through Twitter, just as a positive form of communication. Customer service, just got to be a non-negotiable. We're here to serve the students. We're here to serve the parents. I've been like this as a principal. I insisted that our staffs service the parents. When we go into a business, we want to feel like we were important and we matter. We don't want to have our phone calls go into voicemail. We want to be served. If you see me in central office, you'll see me with a parent. If I see someone that needs help, I'll find out where they need to go and I'll ask them, I'll escort them to the room. In fact, that just happened today. It happens on a regular basis. And so I think that all employees at all levels need to be customer service oriented. We're in this business. We're here for the students. We all have jobs in this profession because of the students that we serve. So we need to serve our customers, which is the students and the parents. And that's just an area that I'm going to insist upon. Valuations and accountability. That is something that the state has changed. We're at a 50% growth model for teachers this year and administrators, and a 50% based on our evaluation observation protocol. I do not necessarily agree with this, but I can tell you that the legislature really hasn't moved on this area, and some of that legislation has been pending for about 3 or 4 years, and the state really does not have a good system in place right now. So we're going to do our best to be fair. I am confident, though, with our new state superintendent, Mr. Whiston, our former superintendent. He's already made some positive changes. I anticipate that we're going to make some good changes, and I am going to talk to our legislatures about why it is important to have a better evaluation system where we're really measuring fair and reliable measurements that are used for an evaluation and accountability for our students. So those are just a few areas that I have outlined with the 98 plan. Again, I'm very, very excited to serve with all of you. I appreciate all the hard work that you do on a daily basis. And despite all these measurements and political pressures and all the things going on in the busy days, the one thing I do know is that children really appreciate the relationships that we develop with them. It's very rewarding for me to go to scholarships or graduations or to run into children or now young adults in the community, and I remember them when they were kindergarten, and they still remember me because they remember the positive impact we had. They might not remember the specific curriculum or the specific area that they learned, but they do remember that when teachers care about them. And so I just want to say to you that I really appreciate your hard work. Again, I'm looking forward to working with you, with all community stakeholders, with the unions, with the administrators, with the Board of Education. And I do think it's a tribute to the Board of Education and to really this community, to the employees that, I'm the superintendent, because I started in the grassroots as a substitute teacher. I worked my way up through the system. And so I understand a lot of the things that have been done. Again, we've groomed leadership from within. And that's an area too that I plan to continue, is to grow leadership capacity within the district. So I thank you for watching this video. And again, I know that we're going to have a great school year together. And you can look forward to seeing a monthly video superintendent corner or some kind of superintendent video production that we're going to put on a monthly basis to keep the positive communication. Thank you. Have a great week.